defense lawyer for 4 persons in Indiana, of course named after Ada versus Wainwright. This year's nominees were David Keckley from St. Joseph County, Douglas Long from Madison County, Michael Ausbrook from Monroe County, Deanna Martin from Marion County, Michelle Krause from Allen County, and Michael Hunt from Monroe County. So this time I asked Bill Polansky, the State Public Defender's Office, to come up and say a few words and introduce this year's Gideon Award.
I work at the State Public Defender Office handling PCR cases, and about 10 years ago, I had a PCR and murder case that I thought was a particularly strong case for a retrial, and unfortunately, that case got no play at all in state court. And for the client, the denial of the PCR is pretty much the end of the road. It's possible to pursue a habeas action in federal court. It's fairly easy for the prisoner to file a petition, and theoretically the district judge can appoint counsel, but that is extremely rare. And without counsel, it's essentially impossible for the prisoner to pursue that litigation. So I was crying in my ear about that case with Michael Ausbrook. He's a very good friend of mine, and we spend a lot of time talking shop and brainstorming cases. And Michael said, you know what, I'm going to take this case as a pro bono habeas. And he did, and took it to the district court and was denied. So then we went to Chicago to the 7th Circuit for an oral argument, and when that was over, we were very excited and optimistic because all the questions the judges were asking seemed to be favoring all the points that the petitioner was making. But then came the decision, and it was another denial. So this was pretty disappointing. And Michael, in his characteristic fashion of being a strong fighter for the criminal defendant, said, you know what, I'm going to see if I can figure out what it takes to have a winning habeas case. So the lawyers at the State Public Defender Office started funneling cases to him, and he took some and he declined others, and he seems to have figured out what it takes to win in federal habeas, notwithstanding the extremely deferential standard of review for that sort of litigation. And of 6 cases that have been fully litigated, there's been a win in 4 of them. And that's in an area of law where nationally the winning percentage is approximately 1/2%. So this is an extremely remarkable achievement. And Michael has spent thousands of hours on this work, and it's all pro bono. And he has actually spent thousands of dollars of his own money in filing fees and printing fees and whatever it takes to litigate the case. And he truly is an unsung hero of public defense, and that's why he deserves the Gideon Award.
Well, I want to thank the board for this award. It's just an incredible honor for the work I've done over the last 7 years. And I looked down the list of other people who have gotten it. if I can count right, I'm the 20th recipient. If you look down the list, I mean, they're all legends of Indiana indigent defense. I've known some of them. I want to say something particular about Tom Hinesley, who won the award 2 years ago. His terrific work just, I think it was 10 days ago, resulted in a reversal of the death sentence by the Seventh Circuit in Tommy Pruitt's case. Which is to say that the work of behaviorist lawyers, and I don't know, I think it might have been Alan Friedman, the work of behaviorist lawyers depends entirely on the work that's happened in state court first. I have spent hours on the phone with the people who had the cases before I got them. And actually, I have an award of my own that I want to give to 6 of those lawyers with whom I spent hours on the phone. I call them the Rubber Ear Award. And I'm told by the reviews on Amazon that if you put them on, they deaden the sound. And I'm incredibly grateful for the time these 6 lawyers, I'm going to mention in a minute, have spent telling me about the cases, showing me where the booby traps are, and also I call them to try out ideas on them. Now I know that they can't tell me whether I'm crazy or not, but they can tell me whether I'm likely to be alone in the asylum. And those 6 lawyers, John Shenwood, this was the first case I took, Troy Shaw's, and I can't tell you how many hours we spent on the phone. And actually, it was 2 days before the oral argument in the Seventh Circuit that he brought up the question of what relief should be asked for. And I hadn't really thought about that, and we talked about it some and came up with an answer. And the first question out of Judge Hamilton's mouth of the oral argument was, what relief do you want? So thanks, John. Linda Hughes, I can't tell, she's not here. She's retired from State PD's office. I spent even more hours on the phone with her. Steve Schutte, I have talked to for forever. Jamie Acklin, in a way, doesn't deserve years because he gets off the phone fairly quickly. But I have 3 of his cases. Jeff Merriman, I have to say something special about. We certainly talked about the case of his that I have, many hours, that's why he gets years. But this week, he put to bed, finally, a habeas case. It is over. He got a terrific deal for his client, our client, back in state court. And it's actually a milestone in what I'm doing because it's the first habeas case that is actually over. And he went, I think, 4 times to Pendleton. He drafted the orders. I think this was all off the state PD's clock. He got just the most terrific deal for our client, and I don't know what else to say, but thank you. And of course, Bill Polansky. He deserves 2 sets of years. I think lawyers on whose work, my work, is entirely defended. I want to thank my wife and Eva and son Alex, who couldn't be here today because they've taken off already for the summer to Warsaw. Because of this work, I've sort of missed middle school, and contrary to the possible wishes of Alex, I don't intend to miss high school. Before I move on to say something about the kind of work I do you generally. I want to say that, habeas is not the only tool that isn't often used. Cynthia Carter has done amazing work by getting the UCLA Supreme Court Clinic to take on the case she lost in state court in Manzano State. Professor Banner, I think it was there, did a terrific job. The case was relisted 5 times before cert was denied, with a dissent from Justice Sotomayor. And if you have cases that raise that sort of issue, look for a Supreme Court clinic to take it on. I know John Pinto litigated the same issue. He had the gumption to flat file, that is to say, inform pauperos without paying fees, a case raising the same issue as Cynthia's. If we keep raising the issues, and if we can get Supreme Court clinics to take the cases, they will eventually win. I want to now take just a few minutes to make a pitch. I have the assembled Indiana public defenders on lunch, if not on bank. And in the Seventh Circuit, I have 10 minutes. I take 3 for rebuttal, but there's no opposition. And it's likely to be a cold bench, so I'll try to say what I want to say in under 5. It's an incredible honor, as I said, for the board, the IPDC board, to have made me the 20th recipient of the Gideon Award for my work. My work began 6 years ago in order to prove an idea. And that idea was, if you could identify cases that had lost in state court that were likely to win in federal court, you could go out and win them. I'm well on the way, I think, to proving that that idea was right. In 4 out of 6 cases, I won 4 out of 6 cases, and in those 6 cases, 4 cases that have been won, we've gotten 183 years of relief for the clients. And I want to put that in a little perspective. The State Public Defender's Office last year, according to its annual report, got over 300 years of relief for its clients. So 183 years of relief in these 4 cases is about half of what the State Public Defender's Office got last year. I want to say that 123 years of the relief that these habeas cases have gotten should have belonged to the State Public Defender's Office, because a grant of federal habeas relief is nothing more than a statement that any reasonable state court would have granted post-conviction relief. Another perspective I want to put on the relief I've gotten is that if you take that 183 years and just say that it's 80 real years of prison time that have been gotten off of the clients have actually gotten time that will not be served. And if it costs $20,000 a year to keep somebody in prison, and I don't know that I think it actually costs more, but that's $1.6 million. If you discount that over 20 years, the present value, it's about $1 million. Maybe a little more. If in the couple of hundred hours that I spent on each of the cases, all 6 cases, including the two that have lost, if I had been paid $300 an hour, and as a public defender, you'd probably be paid $300. I would have been paid $360,000 to save the state about $1 million. Now, I don't want to make the modest claims for relief that all of you, especially the trial lawyers, get every day across the state in the dismissals, the plea agreements, the acquittals, and the arguments you make at sentencing dwarfs anything I do. I occupy a very small corner of the indigent defense universe. But if you think my idea is valuable, and that instead of just being part of the indigent defense universe, it should become part of the indigent defense system, I need your help in finding an institutional home for the kind of work I do, because it cannot just depend on me. There needs to be a place where this work is done. And I'm asking you to talk to your state representatives, anybody. The natural place for it would be in the non-capital habeas unit at the State Public Defender's Office. Now, I don't think the Indiana Supreme Court would be too happy with that. But if anybody knows Chief Justice Rush, I will meet her in the darkest bar of Durango. If she'd like.
She doesn't want bars.
Okay, if she'd like to meet there. So, that said, I just want to say that I need your help in finding an institutional home. I'll talk to anybody about any ideas they might have for doing that. And I finally want to say, I think all of you know Tom Schwarmhorst died at the end of March, and from the post on the internet, I know everybody loved and respected him. I am very sorry he isn't here to see this today. Thank you.
Okay.